year, and it's based on alphabetical order. So you, in a class of 30, let's say, you'd probably have 5 or 6 squads, 5 or 6 kids per squad. It really, really helps getting the class organized. It helps with attendance for myself, but especially if I do have a supply teacher, I can just, on my notes for my supply, say, hey, look, get them in their squads, and attendance will go really, really quickly.
Yeah, because if you've got a squad with 4 people, somebody's missing from that group.
Exactly, and usually the kids will tell you who's away from their squad because they know. It also helps, you set up drills and say, squad 1, you guys go over here, or you're setting up teams for your games. You can do that. But really, more importantly, it's just a way to get the kids paying attention, especially in the gym, because the acoustics are always bad.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't give instruction to a group of 30 kids with them just kind of milling around. So, at the start of the year, especially with my grade 9s and 10s, I have a little fun with it. And, we'll just practice getting our squads for like 15 minutes. Really? No, we'll...
But that could be a real fun game.
Exactly.
Really active, really...
Yeah, and you'll say, okay, guys, I want you to run from here to here, and they're halfway through, and I'll just yell out, squads! And they got to run back into the squads and all that kind of stuff. So it's an invaluable tool for phys ed teachers, and I think every phys ed teacher should use squads.
Squads.
Nice.
All right.
I like that. Kind of want to use it in the drama room.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll be honest.
Drama squads!
Honestly, though, could you imagine if we just said, look, this isn't going to be for any of your groups, but for organizational stuff, we're going to create squads.
Yeah.
And kids have to get to know, and it's like, look, for present, because kids are sometimes nervous, and, I respect that in a drama class. You're nervous about sometimes working on certain things with people you're not comfortable with or you don't know very well. So you can't, but squads would be a great way at the beginning of the year of really extending the kind of get-to-know-you feel that we want in any drama class anyway.
Yeah, and something I always do is, as an icebreaker,
We can't call them squads, though.
Drama squads. I think the sound...
No, I feel like we can't do
Casts!
that.
Casts!
We could.
Call them casts.
Yeah.
Or
Cast 1.
Cliques.
Yeah, that's not...
Gangs!
Gangs. Definitely gangs. My, the grade 12... drama class refers to the 3 drama teachers as the drama clump.
Oh,
so it could be
clumps.
It could be clumps.
Hey, sounds kind of gross.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
It does.
Matted clumps.
It's thrilling that's what they refer. And they regularly will be like, well, the drama clump. Your tip?
My tip was, as with almost anything I know in teaching, I learned it from my dad. Set a rule that's not very important to you. And
like all of them.
Yeah, well, kind of, but you explain this. You spend some detail and time on this. So for me, it's don't call me Mr. P. I even make a bit of a joke about it, but I say it at the beginning of the year, and I say really, guys, don't call me Mr. P. You call me Mr. Plus. P is a bodily function, and kids will self-identify to you as students that you might need to keep an eye on a little bit. Because that will be the kid who will, within seconds, come up to you and say, hey, Mr. P! Now, what you've done is you've said, this is the bar. You want to rebel, kid? Call me Mr. P. And no one gets hurt. No harm, no foul. Yeah. I know where you are. And it's not in the sense of oh, now I know that kid and I'm going to make that kid miserable and drive him out of school. In fact, sometimes it's like, wow, that's a kid I have to try and find a way to connect with. That's a kid I have to try and reach because, I'm going to have to need, and sometimes the toughest kids, and we were kind of discussing this before, have a real ability to make you feel self-conscious. They have a real ability to trip you up and make you feel embarrassed and make you feel bad and make you lose your temper and a lot of things that kind of make you lose control. And, so if you can build that relationship early on and sort of know, well, that's a kid I need to connect with, it can be a big advantage. Mm-hmm. So the stupid rule you don't care about, the unimportant line in the sand that you draw, and then when people cross over it.
So you can do the thing that you always hate, which is pay more attention to the troublemaker.
Well, I'm not the guy who really hates that as much.
No?
It's more Aaron, I think. But I always sort of feel frustrated sometimes that you get that extra attention. But I also feel like, to me it's an equity thing. It's not equality, it's equity.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And there are kids who you do need to put a little bit more time into it. But you're right, on the other hand, but my thought is you put the time in early with the thought that kid is not pulling time away from everyone else later because you've got them to buy into the class as well. Mm-hmm. So it's more preventative. Yes, I definitely hate the fact that we spend so much time on a small portion of
10,
kids.
8 to 10.
Yeah. And I wish we didn't have to do that. Like, I wish we had more control over who was in our class and what they were actually doing when they were there, with the thought of there's other people trying to learn. Well, I'm going to now hit up Reddit, and I have a good 7 pages worth of stuff.
Okay, strap in, boys and girls.
So strap in,
I'm just going
boys
to push
and
back a
girls.
little bit here. There we
I'm
go.
actually going to think. I'm actually probably going to go backwards here. I talked about also making really simple rules. And Tasha Rani, because I also think your rules should be really simple and clear. And she or he said this: Rule 1, make good choices. Rule 2, ignore those who don't.
I like that. I shouted because I'm really far away now.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
Are we talking about kids, or are we talking
Students.
about...
At first I was just like, you mean as a teacher? But no, it's like as a student. So it's like, as a student, make good... At first I misread it either. Yeah.
The rules for the kids.
Yeah,
Yes,
these are
yes,
rules
yes.
for the kids. So as a student, make good choices and ignore those who don't. Because if you think about it, how often are things thrown off where it's like, but that guy's doing this, or, and it's just like, it'd be great to be able to say, make good choices. He's not making good choices, ignore him. Mm-hmm. And also, what does that do to class clownism? Because your rule is basically don't feed the fire.
That's right.
Which is such a good rule.
It really is such a good rule. Tasharni, you have won an award of good first answer. Chef Mike 1407. Because I'm pretty sure Chef Mike 1406 was taken. Chef Mike 1 through 4.
No, you know what? I wonder if that's his birthday.
Oh, could be.
The combination to his luggage.
Yeah.
Which is also my birthday.
And he actually said this, and I actually like this as an idea. I give the students a copy of the rules. I want them to glue it into their notebook. This way I expect them to act the same way in other classes. So he's basically saying, these aren't just the rules, and, this is a good advice everywhere you go in the world.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of love for this one. Now, can I talk about one that you might have left? The one that's sort of thorny, and this one came up a number of times in many different ways. I'll just mention Awesomelandia, because what a great name, Awesomelandia.
I want to live there.
I would like to live in Awesomelandia. Who also teaches drama.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Employ wait time. Don't start talking when students when you have students who are still talking who are distracted.
That's one of the most important.
You would say number one most important thing?
One of the most, yeah.
I totally do it. I totally will sit there and just wait and see who notices.
You have to.
And then wait for them. I had a class the other day where I was trying it, and they were ignoring me entirely. So finally, I sort of stopped the class and said, I want you to know that your behavior is really irritating me because it's rude and disrespectful. And I am going to yell about it soon. But I want you to know where the yelling is coming from. The yelling is coming from the fact that you are being rude and disrespectful to me and the rest of the class. And you're irritating me. Mm-hmm. So, when I yell, and I will... that's where it's coming from.
Now, can I ask you guys this? When everyone's talking, are you guys just stone-faced quiet and they all eventually quiet down? Or do you engage...
It depends.
...to people to be silent as that's happening?
I usually make... I don't know what the term is. You guys are the drama guy people. I make gestures, pantomime. Is that... I don't know. I'll sarcastically look at my non-existent watch... Or I'll just look up at the ceiling for a while.
So something to draw you, because what happens to me sometimes when I do the silent thing is everyone's like, oh, he's not talking. Oh, he's just free time.
Yeah. or and sometimes I'll use sarcasm. Like, guys, really? What grade are we in, boys? Come on. And,
I look expectantly around the room.
Yeah.
Around the circle, because we always have a circle. So we have a circle. That's one of our organization things, is the circle.
It is.
So at the start of the year, instead of squads, we have circles.
Of drama.
But I will look I sit and I look expectantly around the circle. And I just look around and I make eye contact with people. And there are always a couple who you can count on to shush other people.
Yeah.
And I just...
Well, I feel I have to make eye contact, and sometimes I'm not patient enough, so I will go around the circle. I'm sure you've seen me do this a million times, from group to group, and say, "Now I'm going to have to ask you to be quiet, please. I'm going to have to ask you to be quiet, please." And I'll go, and I'll sort of get them quieted down. And the frustration is that by the time I get to the end of the circle, the same people have started talking. I
usually let the kids do the shut up.
Yeah.
Thing. Like I just say, "Guys, shut up," and then they say it to each other, and so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Can I say, by the way, Lisa, I love when you're talking about something serious. Your enunciation, it's very serious and pointed, expectantly. I love it.
My mother corrected our pronunciation constantly, and got really mad at us if we mumbled. So I really hit those plosives.
Yes, you do.
Just to tie in, and I mean, I didn't want to mention everybody who said about the don't talk when people are talking, but Nipple Dick agrees.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I love Twitter handles.
Things have just turned blue here in the staff lounge.
Well,
wow.
I'm pretty sure
is this person a teacher?
Pretty sure it's short for Richard.
Still, nipple
Dick. Anyway, but
Gracious.
Here's the thing. Basically, and this was a really good point, if you talk over people, you are basically giving them permission to carry on.
Oh, yeah.
Philosophically, that's
Yes.
a really good point about why you don't talk when they're talking. I guess I'm just not patient enough. Because, to me, it just feels like I've been doing it I do it. I always do I'm not going to deliver this lesson until everyone's fully quiet. But I get really impatient while I'm doing it.
I'm impatient and I'm bored. I'll also tell them how long it took them.
Oh, okay.
From the time I'm ready until they're actually quiet, I'll be like, that took 10 minutes. You just wasted 10 minutes of our time. It's not usually 10 minutes. It was 4 minutes this morning. But I let them know what amount of time they've wasted.
Okay. Another good classroom strategy, which I want to mention to you, is because I think you really buy in on this, is showing disappointment.
Guilt is the ultimate weapon.
Guilt is a weapon. They have to like you.
They have to like you. But if you're disappointed in them, and it's so good.
And it doesn't work for everyone, but
No.
it's about having different arrows in your quiver.
Yep.
Slaying different beasts. It's all about killing kids. That's really what I'm trying to say.
Well, I started it by saying it was the ultimate weapon.
Yeah.
But yeah, guilt is soul destroying, and I say that because it worked on me. That was how my parents controlled me.
Oh yeah,
was
my
guilt.
daughter was in tears just before bedtime tonight because I wasn't even trying to give her a guilt trip, but I was just trying to explain to her that her behavior was impolite and antisocial, and that we need to get along. We're a family and all that. And she just broke down in tears. My kids are also very tired, so.
Yeah. But you it's funny. There's a young man with whom you have a strong relationship. You know what I'm talking about, and he talked about how, yeah, man. Sometimes, it's rough. Because the last thing in the world you want to hear is have Bowers say those three words. What was it? You let me down. And I'm like, that's 4 words. I can't remember what he said, but it was just something along those.
Have I ever said that to anybody?
Well, it wasn't you let me down. It was something like,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. Maybe it was I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
It might have been I'm disappointed. I think it was, come to think of it. I'm disappointed. Not you let me down. It was I'm disappointed. But it was something along those lines of, when somebody respects you, they that's a great tool to
It is.
use.
As long as, because being disappointed in a student who hates you, it isn't going to work.
And it was Rock My World
Who's added that?
Yeah, who was just
Nice
below
Rock
Nipple
My
Dick.
World. Oh my god.
I'm on the list here. But also what Rock My World said, which was actually a really, really good tip, is make students own their behavior. Depending on the student, you ask, what needs to change in this situation? And have them answer. And Lisa, what do you often say?
What's the problem here? Fix the problem.
Mm-hmm. And students take ownership of their behavior, and you're giving them the choice to be good.
Yeah.
It's all about meaningful choices. That's a nice buzzword that, again, my dad always taught me, is you have to give kids meaningful choices. You don't tell them what to do. You give them meaningful choices. And hopefully they'll choose the right thing, because you'll make the wrong thing less appealing. But you always have to bear in mind that it's choice.